Braden Surprenant back at it, top dog for another edition of the High School Football Podcast, back in person again. We've had a couple of Zooms mixed in. We've had a couple of in-persons. Been very hectic over the last couple of
Dude, you're
weeks
a world traveler.
So. I am.
I mean, I can't believe it. What game were you at this weekend?
Georgia, Tennessee.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry your Tennessee Vols lost.
My brother's Tennessee Vols. See the shirt today?
Oh, you're back wearing TCU now? No Tennessee?
Country. I wore both. No TCU? I support both.
Oh, now you're wearing TCU.
Gwen and Chris were making fun of all the colleges I root for, but I root for my Frogs, right? I went there. I support my siblings. So Tennessee and High Point. High Point doesn't have a football team, but you know, they just beat Pfeiffer in basketball. So go Panthers.
All right.
Yeah, I know you.
I'm wearing a nice shirt for you today.
I like the De La Salle shirt.
Like that.
That's our sister school. And I support the Aztecs.
You do?
My dad went to San Diego State.
You do? You support the Aztecs?
I support the Aztecs.
I'll be there Saturday.
Against San Jose State?
Yes, sir.
2.5-point dogs at home?
Yes, sir.
That might be too close.
Guess who invited me?
Ruben?
Oh. Ruben doesn't like me.
We'll get to our guests in a little bit.
23 invited me.
Really?
Yep. Send me a text message.
Oh, nice. So you get to sit in the nice seats, huh?
I know. I'll be sitting with Mom and Pops.
Ah, that's awesome.
But then, you know where I get to go before then?
Going on the tailgate or something?
No, I woke up to a text message from a former San Diego player that you might know that plays for Davidson.
Oh.
You know who that is?
No.
Clarence Freeman.
Oh, really?
Bishops.
Oh.
He plays for Davidson. So he sent me a text that says, TD, come into town. Mom and Dad want to sit with you for the USD Davidson game.
That's a 2:00 game.
Yep.
I'll be there at the end of the
today.
I'll be there at the end of the volleyball game.
Okay.
And then the Arizona Wildcats I support. My mom's a U of A grad. So those are my colleges I root for. Other than that, I don't root for any other colleges.
I mean, when Ohio State plays, I mean, I don't hear you say anything bad, so.
I don't like Ohio State.
This interview's over.
Chris, I like you, but I really don't like Ohio State. And I don't want to get into any diatribes about 2014 because I was already frustrated thinking about that last night watching the college football playoff.
Right on TCU.
Rankings. We're 4. I'll take it. It looks like we're probably going to
be the last dog in the dance.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be the last dog in. I'm sorry, I'm getting text messages. Let me turn that. Matter of fact, it's KC.
Anyway,
23 calling texting me. That's nice.
Make sure you got your tickets.
Hey, making sure I'm gonna be there.
Is that your first time at Snapdragon?
It is, man. I'm excited.
It's pretty sweet.
You know, I'm not special like you, where I get to go to home openers and
I just went to that one.
And
I've had a pretty good college football season so far. Haven't seen these guys play yet, which I have season tickets for these guys and haven't been to a game yet. I'm waiting for hopefully a good bowl game so I can
give away to a good college kid or what?
I give them away to my friends usually, and then some Texas Tech guy bought my tickets for the Texas Tech game.
Yep.
Covered my entire season tickets.
Why would you sell them to Texas Tech?
Because he spent $500 on my $50 seats.
Oh.
It covered 3/4 of my season tickets.
So in other words, you're pimping out your home team to make a profit.
We won
the other games.
Well, see the backstory on that, and I know we're going a long drive. Here's the backstory. Texas Tech always takes over the stadium because their alumni base.
You know who's a Texas Tech Raider?
Who?
Mike McKinnon.
Really?
The general manager at KUSI.
You know, Coach Quintera coached at Texas Tech?
Did he really?
Yeah, he was a baseball coach at Tech. So we got the Tech feud all the time. But anyway,
okay.
Texas Tech's largest living alumni base lives in Fort Worth. So they all take over the stadium. So TCU's counter to that was kind of like what the Padres do with the Dodgers, where the tickets selling to people that live from Lubbock. So what they did was, in order to buy Texas Tech tickets, you have to buy season tickets. So they were looking, and then they all got all hot and bothered and pissed off about it, and we're like, we're gonna show them by spending all this money to buy the tickets. So I was like, all right. So I listed.
That really showed them.
I listed the tickets for $500.
That really showed them.
And some Texas Tech guy paid for half my season tickets.
Okay, I get it. In that case, I was forgetting.
Other than that, I'm not selling them to the other team,
so
but I saw the opportunity.
Let's talk about what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, let's introduce our guests. We have Ruben Pena from SDFNL. We also have Chase Izidoro from the PPR. You know, Chase and I were on the same high school football team?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You went to Cathedral?
Yeah, I was a year below him. So
he's a Don?
He's a Don.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were. Well, wait, don't you have a relative that's the AD at Mater Dei?
Yeah, and we all came from a Saints family. So we're all black sheep.
And Chase has the last laugh this season so far. 2-0. Don's went 2-0 against the Catholic school team so far.
That's true.
But one of them might be able to get him back. So hopefully,
before we go too far to that, I just want to talk a little bit about Ruben Pena. In case of you that don't follow Ruben or know Ruben, Ruben is part of SDFNL magazine, part owner. Him and Montel Allen.
Sure,
they've put on the San Diego Friday Night Lights Kickoff Classic every year, or what is it? 12 years now.
We're going on our 9th year for the All-Star game, but we're 11th year for covering high school football.
So,
San
I
Diego.
mean, he's done an amazing job. No organization in San Diego County has put more kids on scholarship in college for football scholarships than Ruben and Montel. So
I get to see their
all those guys that are out there pumping your chest about fake offers and whatever, these guys have done more work in the time that they've been in our community than anybody else.
I see their mugs on TV every Friday.
Yeah, they do. They
I
talk
do the little
they talk
football
to Rudy.
preview.
Yeah.
That's right. I see it every Friday. I get to see. I tune in the KUSI for a couple of things. Obviously the PPR,
Yep.
but Ruben and Montel,
Yep.
and then Chris Ello on Mondays.
Okay.
It's my little
Your little thing.
KUSI time.
Yeah, you can. Okay, I get it.
Nice.
So I have a great deal of respect for what he's done over the course of 11 years, 12 years being in this community. He gave me my start. Him and Montel gave me my start in the industry and taught me a lot. So I owe a lot of what I do to him and Montel.
So what we're going to do today, not only are we going to do our normal stuff, we're picking high school games at the end, and we'll have our celebrity pickers as well. But we're going to go through Silver Pigskin Gala Awards ballot,
Yep.
a couple of big time awards. We do this every year, you and I,
Yep.
but want to get some more input from some of the other
Some other valuable
entities.
opinions.
We have multiple entities.
Yep.
We share with everybody.
We do.
We're not exclusive. We're a friendly
Hey, don't tell my
podcast.
girl I'm not exclusive, man. I don't want her getting the wrong idea when you say that. Okay.
Anyway, so we'll be talking about some of the awards. We'll go through each award, and we'll put our picks in. I was
Hey, before we do, can we talk about the process? And I think it's one of the reasons why we asked Chase to come on.
Yes.
He's a Red Jacket. If people don't know, I'm a former Red Jacket. I'm also the former director of IT for KUSI Television. I worked there for the better part of 2 years, and I was there every Friday night during broadcasts. So I got a little insight about how that process really works, and I wanted Chase to talk about that as well. I think there's a lot of misinformation out in the community that we need to clear up.
Well, let's get into that in a second, but I do want to mention, because I think this is also important. I was sitting here cursing the PPR, thinking I didn't get an invite this year to the Silver Pigskin Game or a ballot.
Right.
And Coach Quintero today on the show was like, "Are you going to the gala?" And I was sitting there going like, "I don't know, wasn't invited."
Yeah, please check all folders.
And then I'm sitting here and you're texting me, "Do you have the list?" I'm like, now acting like salty.
Yeah.
No, I'd have
Super
the list
salty.
if you invited me, but then
saw
it was
the
in
pepper.
it was in my spam folder. I found
told
it.
you that. I
So-
told you that. I was like, did you check your
I-
spam folder?
Right when you said that, I was checking my spam folder. I also checked the wrong email.
And guess what was there?
It was there. I have it in front of me. So if you are like me and have voted before
Yep.
and think you're getting hosed this year,
Yep.
like you got wiped clean from
Yep.
the email list,
I'm not
check your spam folder.
Yep.
I was really pissed.
Well, look, you're not the only guy.
No.
I texted Rudy the other day. I was like, dude, where's my ballot?
Text him. Did you call him?
No, I texted him.
You didn't
Where's
call
my
him?
ballot? I didn't call him. I
you
promise
sure?
I didn't call him. I promise.
Calling him up.
No,
just
I-
cursing him out
listen,
live on television.
how
when
bad
he's trying
is
to do
it?
the morning show.
I text him during the morning show, like straight up. He'll do it between takes or whatever. He'll pick it up, look at it. But
When Mark
No, I
Mathis is
texted
doing the
him.
weather, he's
I'm
sitting there
not
feeding
texting
you
Mark
back.
anymore. Mark and I had an on-air incident one
Oh my
time.
God.
Texted. We're not doing that no more.
That's great. I love this drama.
I can't text Mark. He's made it clear to me I'm not allowed to text him in the group anymore.
Anyway, well, we were talking about
But anyway, yeah, I text him too. He said, I thought I got hosed. Like, dude, where's my where's my
disrespected
ballot?
out here, man.
I was getting mad. Like I
That's right.
was actually like literally pissed off. And he goes, dude, check your spam folder. So I went and looked at my spam folder, and sure the hell it was there.
All right, let's talk about the process here. Okay, so we have let's go through the awards real quick.
You do a split screen now,
Um,
right? These guys talk to.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Okay, so we have the Coach of the Year award, Underclassman of the Year, 2A Player of the Year, Special Teams Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Iron Hog, Silver Pigskin, and that's kind of the layout there. The gala is like the Oscars
Yep.
or the ESPYs
Yep.
of high school football in
It's
San
dope.
Diego, and a great production. Is it at the Rock again this year?
It is.
At the Rock.
Great venue.
Oh,
for that.
dude.
It's perfect for that.
Last year's venue. I mean, it was because of COVID, they limited the amount of people that were there. That was an amazing event.
It's going to be even better now
I
without the
felt like
limitations.
a little high school kid watching.
It was awesome.
Oscars
It was
all over
great.
again.
It was great. So and it's getting bigger and bigger every year.
Every year.
So anybody that doesn't know, obviously the PPR puts
the
on
only people that don't enjoy the gala.
the people that have to work it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So the gala is they give out awards. So anyway, just overall, PPR has these awards. They nominate about 4 or 5 guys, and then it goes through somewhat of a vote. But I'm gonna let Chase take over and talk about the process, because a lot of people think it's just the PPR just picking.
Right. Oh, well, you can pick anybody you want.
But it's not the case. There's a lot of different people that vote, and there's a process to how they determine who wins these awards.
Yep. So first and foremost, I do get a lot of heat coming from a lot of coaches, from players, and at the same time, I understand we all have egos. Everyone in this room has one, especially athletes, especially football players who know they're at the top level in their game. So if you were left off an award, it's nothing against you. It's just that there's so many kids that we have to cut it off somewhere. We could put 10 guys on a ballot if we wanted to, but then you have 10 different schools voting for their singular kid, and the vote gets even chopped up.
Just watered down.
It does. It makes it even harder for the guys at the top where they're losing votes because coaches voted for their kids. Right. So we cut it off at 6. But if you believe for even a moment that it's just 6 kids for each category who are deserving of that, you're fooling yourself. Yeah. There's multiple kids. I mean, the worst one was Underclassman. It's 30 deep of guys who legitimately we could have put anybody on there. It's a ridiculous amount. But basically, there's no other way of saying this without it sounding odd, but I kind of like the hate.
Hey, you can be any day, man.
Listen, you guys hear that? Hold on. I want to make sure you guys hear that. So Chase Izidoro's Twitter, we'll put his Twitter up on here, okay? So
I got a lot of Padres Twitter people that love to tee off on you like they tee off on me all the time.
No, listen, the reason before you go into the hate, let me ask you the question.
Don't embrace the hate yet.
Yeah, not yet. Okay, you're still new at this.
All the hate tells me is that they care.
Yeah,
is that they take it seriously.
Yeah,
is that they hold these awards to that high of a level to where the players, the coaches, they're mad, they're angry at it. If we could put an award out there or a ballot out there where we're not going to have any feedback and everyone just goes, yeah, that's 100% right, we do it. It's not going to happen.
Possible.
It's never going to happen.
It's not
well,
good.
It's better than nobody talking.
And I don't think people realize, going back to the process for just a moment, on the night where Paul Rudy calls all the Red Jackets in, and we got to sit down, you sit in a room, and he brings us all around the table. And he orders pizza, and he's buttering. Listen, Paul Rudy's buttering you up when he orders pizza. Like that's just not his nature. So something's coming. And this is done after a Friday night PPR. So you've got a day job, you work your day job, you come to PPR, you work for 5-6 hours as a field producer or a videographer doing your job, and then Rudy calls you in after the show. So you got to stick around to the entire show in studio, get all your editing done, get all your scripts in, get all your work done. Then you got to go sit around a table for 2 hours to argue with people that I'm going to be candid. I've been times I've been in that room where I'm like, dude, do you know anything about football?
Yeah. So we actually have changed that process this year because Paul said that's the worst night he hates. So basically I was put in charge of data collecting every single player I could possibly find and how they fit into any category. Every single week, if I saw you on the PPR, it doesn't tell you everything. You don't get the guys who get the 10 tackles in a game. You don't get the guys who are blocking on the O-line and D-line. But I put your name on a short list, and you will stay there the entire year. That might have been your only good game, but I will check in on you every single week. And that list grows about 50 deep at each category, especially the guys where, look at it like a Chase Lowry. He could have been up for offense player of the year. He could have been up for defense player of the year. He could have been up for 2A. So you imagine he fits into all 3. And so we keep a list of everyone like that.
That's
and we're constantly checking in. I'm constantly checking in. And it's not just me individually. Paul checks in with me saying, hey, where are we with guys?
What about Stoney?
Brandon has his own list.
Yeah.
And then we converge. And then it's not just that. I tell every Red Jacket, send me an email. Because I'm producing. So I'm in the studio. There's a couple times where I go out there and I'm able to film a game, get a couple shots and leave at halftime so I can put it on the show. But I'm in studio, so I can't see everything. Right. And that's really where you see it. So I have all Red Jackets emailing me, hey, this kid, I don't even know his name. They didn't have it on the Max Prep sheet, but it's number 6 on this team. Right. I go in there, I check if we have him on the raw videos. I check if he posted his stats on Twitter. If it's not there, I'm going to Max Prep to see.
Bro, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. Listen, I got to be honest. That's probably better than what we used to do.
If they're keeping us up to the standard that this is the legitimate awards for San Diego high school football, then I'm going to keep my standard of making sure we got the right guys there. So if you guys are mad that you're not in it, I fully understand. We can't put everybody in it, but trust me when I say we are completely confident that the people we have at every single award are worthy of it. And that's all that matters to us. Might not get everyone who is worthy of it. We could. I mean, like I said, you go underclassmen, Balava from Army Navy.
Yep.
Why is he not in there?
Yep.
Castillo.
That's one of
Miguel,
those are two of the guys that I was
Rylan Jesty. Yeah. Why is he not in there?
Yeah.
I mean, the Saints kids. Why is either Parker Johnson or Brady Palmer not in there?
So Ruben,
how about any of the three Madison guys? Tivao was incredible. Via Toy Lolo. Yep. I mean, there's so many kids.
Yeah.
So, but then you look at it, and it's like, who do you take out? Right. Because then we're going to have the same vicious circle type of argument where, what about him? You know, what about this kid? Why is he not in it? And so it's extremely difficult. Like I said, I embrace the hate because I know that they care that much, and it makes me happy that they care that much. You know, I kind of wish I wouldn't get 30 phone calls about it. You know what I mean? If we could avoid that, we would. But
I thought my Twitter rants were pretty bad. I mean, I'm not getting 30 phone calls. You know, but I didn't have to go see my therapist this week either. So,
but at the same time, I think it's all about, you know, understanding that they hold it up to that high level. So I'm going to hold it up to that high level. And like I said, I don't ever take anybody off that list until the end. Until the end, and it's not just me. We all come together, and it wouldn't, you know, after midnight with pizza, but we all have a day where we sit down and hash it out, and then we start eliminating people from the list. Right. And I, like I said, we feel strongly with everybody who we put everywhere. You know, it's not like the people who didn't make it aren't someone that we want to represent or we don't think.
See, that's another. That's
they totally are, but like you can't have.
You know, I'm glad
it off at so many people.
There's another misnomer, misinformation out there that the PPR somehow elects or chooses the guy they want to win the Silver Pigskin.
No.
Talk about who votes, who has a vote, and how those, I guess, the list is what we call it, the list.
So for putting together the list for the Silver Pigskin.
No, the people who vote on it.
Oh, the people who vote on it?
I want to talk about the people
who vote on it. It's all coaches. It's PPR members, so it's not just everybody at KUSI, it's everyone who's a red jacket as well, all the photographers as well. Then it's media members, not just at our station, but at other local stations who are following. And it's basically almost everybody that covers high school football in San Diego as well.
So would you say group? I think the number I saw was 55 that are actual KUSI associated, if you will. Those are red jackets and people that work on the show. That's, and like you said, right, videographers and producers and everybody. But then you go outside of that. You've got, I think we saw that a Fox 5 guy was on the list. I think that the Union Tribune's on the list. Yeah. I think that
we got two guys from the Fan.
Yeah, two guys from in 96. I mean, both of us
are
on there. Ruben, you're on the list, right? So you got Montel's on the list. You know, so it's not just, I mean, I guess let's just dispel the belief right here, right now, that PPR has enough votes on this that they could actually say, we're going to pick this kid. They don't. So this award isn't like, you know, the executive broadcaster, whoever owns the station, Mr. McKinnon comes out and says, I want that kid to win the award. I want
that guy on the trophy.
It can't happen.
We also opened it up with our Instagram post as well. Not so much like the fan vote, but we will take a percentage of votes from who the community voted on, the fans, and add that also to the Silver Pigskin voting. So they have their own say as well. It's not just the coaches. It's not just everybody on the media as well.
Okay, so explain to me how that works.
I believe it's we take 25% or 15%. It's something small, but it is added in.
Okay, but that only counts for one vote though, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so it's one vote.
It's not stacked up to where you know if you get 30,000.
Okay, I want to make sure we clear that up because
before a kid gets like 30,000.
All of a sudden somebody goes on social media. Next thing
if they do get that many likes, there will be a representation of that.
They're gonna get a vote.
The fans. It's not a massive. It's not a massive representation compared to the media members.
Depending on the percentage.
Yeah, they'll get a vote. So if there's 200 guys, of that, but 55 are KUSI, the rest are 84. You gotta think 84 high school coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 84 in San Diego. They all get a vote. I don't even know. What about former pigskin winners? Are they on the list still?
I believe so.
So I guess my point to all this is, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff, and I really wanted to put this show together to talk about, you know, nobody can go on social media and guarantee any single player is going to win. I think a lot of people have a consensus in their mind of what their opinion is, which is great. But at the same token, you know, what I like about this is you've got 200 different opinions. You know, I may think it's all about the small school and who the MVP on their team was. And I may take a guy, or I might be a defensive guy. So I might really, really want to vote for Josiah Cox because I'm a defensive guy, right? Every single person that votes has a different lens in what they see this as.
Yeah.
And it's up to that person to cast wherever they vote they want. Now, to me, that represents the Heisman Trophy winner, the Major League Baseball Players Writers Association when they pick the MVP for the sports. So this is really no different than any other award that they vote on in pro sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ruben, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Chase, great job, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I ain't putting it back on the work.
It's not like he's going out there just grabbing Twitter accounts and somebody's putting it down for him. He's actually got a system. There's a method to his madness, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of late nights.
A lot of late nights, and to hear what you guys did to get to PPR going that night. I mean, I'm already probably into my 5th, 6th beer, man. Maybe my 8th better already. Right? I know you guys do it, but like you said earlier, it's a great thing. It's a good thing for San Diego. You guys can't get everybody in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately not, but the players that are on there, I go through the list. I've seen the list. They're all solid athletes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they all deserve it. Yeah, you got some guys that got left out, but at least you got thought about. You're going to be a part of something. But these guys that are on this list right here, amazing athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to get to players right now, but all the guys that you broke down, all the guys that your staff broke down, I'm going to say it's pretty much about 98%.
Yeah, I would agree.
98% right. And
ain't two swing and misses. I mean, there ain't too many. And listen, I mean, when you look at the sheer volume of players in San Diego, you got 7,000 kids playing high school football in San Diego. Yep. You've only got, 20 awards?
Yeah, if that.
And by the way, don't ever mention the amount of awards to Mike McKinnon Jr. They call him to or Jr. Because every year I hear the same phone call from Paul. Junior says, there's too many awards. There's too many awards. We're giving out participation trophies.
Yeah, as we added a whole bunch more. We have the Fans' Choice Awards now where the fans vote on those ones.
What is this, Nickelodeon? Yeah. We're having the Fans' Choice Award?
I'm in only if Chris gets slimed.
Hey, listen. If me as a kid gets an award, I'll take the slime.
Can't take the
slime.
Don't call
it. I will take the slime.
Take the slime.
I know a lot of people that want to slime that guy over.
There's still, but
Ruben is standing by the button.
The other thing too, I mean, these are awards. There's other ways to get recognized. They still have the CIF, all CIF awards go out, the all league awards. I mean, there's still multiple opportunities to
and listen, over the years, there's been so many kids. I mean, there's been more kids that didn't get the silver pigskin than did.
Right.
And I mean, listen, the number one guy that everybody loves to talk about that didn't get on there was Chris Olave. Look at Olave now. You think he cares that he didn't get the silver pigskin?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
He's helping out the Funky Town Slick Shooter fantasy football team.
So I'm just saying, it's not the end of the world if you don't win the silver pigskin. I understand it's a great honor. I'm not taking anything away from it. But that doesn't, I mean, we've had guys like, CJ Verdell won it. Had a great career at Oregon. Tried to get in the NFL. Didn't work out. Another guy like Scotty Young. Didn't even get on the podium. Went for play of the year. Goes and has a great career at University of Arizona, goes on to West Virginia. Okay. It doesn't say that, I mean, there's guys that have been up for it who didn't do well. Then there's guys that weren't up for it who did really well.
Right.
So I don't think, I mean, let's be honest. Where's McClendon? Or what's his name? From
Jamal McClendon.
Jamal McClendon. It's supposed to go to UCLA and nobody knows where he is.
And we were just talking about that earlier, man. The guy was just a stud. He was probably one of the best running backs I've seen with CJ Verdell, Royce Freeman, and with Robinson now. Just stands out. The kid was good. He was great, actually. My thought he should have stayed at San Diego State, but he did his part. He did his thing. And where he's at, I have no idea where he's at.
So I my point to that is, it's not 100% like you're going to get a home run career out of this. I mean, Jack Tuttle won it. He's still fighting for a job in Indiana. So
we got a lot of guys in the National Football League that weren't even close to the podium that play different positions.
Yeah. I think there's also a common misconception that we're only putting guys on there who have pedigree and who have 4 stars and stuff like that. I mean, that's just not the case. We try to not focus on that or not make that a thing. Because if that's the case, you tell me where DJ Peavy is on any award list. Because I think DJ Peavy has just as good a chance to be in the NFL one day as a Zach Marshall, who's not on any award list.
Yeesh. Leave those two guys out.
It's tough, man.
It's tough. I can imagine.
It's a tough
it brings me back to this. One of the things that I hear a lot of, and I got to say, there's some truth to this, that if you're in one of the top 10 programs in the county, you do get more looks for a silver pigskin.
Sure.
If you're at a Helix, an Oceanside, Mission Hills, a Lincoln, a St. Augustine, a Cathedral, you get looks. And guys that say Mar Vista or, you know, some of the smaller schools, they don't get the looks. They don't get the love.
Yeah, but it's also with those schools, it's also the history of the past players that have brought forward to go to college, go to NFL. I mean, you don't get much Mar Vista players going too many colleges. We're trying to help them with SDFNL, but you know, Helix, you get guys going to college all the time. Cathedral, Saints, it's like he was saying, it's a pedigree of that program that builds these kids to get them to the next level. Yeah. You know, no knock on other coaches or lower levels, no knock on them, but it's just like you said, it's those top 10 schools, man. They're just getting those looks.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing though is that it's not the only thing. You know, we try our best to look at everybody. We try our best to evaluate everyone in that way. You know, as for example, on the fan vote, we had Chris Williams, from Francis Parker. You know, we would be fine with him being on the podium and winning it. Honestly, if it came down to that, you know, it's hard for him because he's at Francis Parker to get a fan vote. He'd literally have to go door to door because there's just not enough kids at the school. But at the same time, we also had Royce Freeman.
It's the same thing as the Heisman, right? Yeah. I mean, how many times has San Diego State produced a top running back?
Sure.
Marshall Faulk.
And the biggest knock is, well, you know, they're playing Mountain West schools. Or, you know, he's not going against an SEC defense all the time. I mean, even the last couple of running, I mean, Rashad Penny was putting up insane numbers and Donald Humphrey's putting up big numbers. And I remember you go on San Diego State's campus and one of their, you know, dorms has a giant Penny for Heisman banner or Pumphrey for Heisman banner, and they'll just have no recognition whatsoever in the national spotlight. But that's just kind of the name of the game when it comes to some of these things.
So there's one name that, you know, kind of sticks out to everybody that it's been floating around Twitter, and I want to talk about it. I want to get your guys' thoughts about it. That's Trey Edwards. You know, Trey obviously, you know, prior to the Lincoln game, I think that everybody kind of had him on the list and on the radar. I mean, he's an All-American. He was the Defensive Player of the Year last year for the San Diego Union Tribune. His resume is impeccable. You know what? Come to find out, you know, he didn't make the fan vote, and you know, people were like, "Well, how did that happen?" So, talk a little bit about your thoughts.
Let me go in the resume. I got a little bit of notes here for Trey Edwards. 4-year starter, San Diego Player of the Year as a junior.
Yeah.
4-star athlete. 17 total D1 offers. Over 350 tackles. Army All-American, state champion. Led a team to undefeated season. 3.5 GPA. I've seen him play. I've seen him work. The kid is great. He's good. He's good at what he does. He's gonna have a bright future at UCLA. He's gonna make a quick impact over at UCLA. Unfortunately, he got left off for some reason. But
what are your thoughts? Why do you think they left him off?
Maybe injury. I don't know. Maybe the injury stopped him, slowed him down a little bit. I think he missed like three or four games. You know, maybe he wasn't 100%, but I've seen him play the past 2-3 years. You know, the kid has it. He's great. He's going to be good. He's one of the best defensive guys that I've seen play at that level. And they're only getting better. Modern day Catholics moving up a little more. And we're going to see the real modern day Catholic at the playoffs. So I know we're going to talk about that soon, but we're going to see the real them. They're going to be healthy. John has his guys ready to go. And I think with Trey Edwards being 100%, it's going to be a big part of their defense this year.
You know, I think for me, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts as a voter, I'm very high on Trey. I love the kid, love the way he plays football. I got nothing bad to say about him. I do think that, you know, modern day starting 0-4 had a lot of question marks around the program. I think that brought a lot of negativity toward the program at all. A lot of question marks. And then, you know, that last game when they played Lincoln, it was televised on KUSI, and it was hyped up. Literally, KUSI had those guys in studio in an interview right next to each other. And I think, you know, myself included, I was looking forward to that big collision between those two big bruisers to see who was going to be that guy. And when I watched that game, you know, Roderick just took over. I mean, he had 8 touchdowns and over 400 yards rushing. And at that point, I guess in my mind, it was kind of like, well, I guess the running back's better than the linebacker. And so for me, you kind of stop seeing a lot of people on social media talk about Trey Edwards, or his name wasn't in the conversation anymore. And I feel like that's when he lost some of the momentum that could have carried him into getting on that silver pigskin podium. That's my thoughts.
So for the fan vote, we will never put two kids from the same school on the fan vote, just for voting reasons. Same reason why we only chose one in Josiah Cox getting on there as Lincoln's representative. I don't believe we had a kid from Helix go on there though. But usually we like to look for, the kids that are most deserving on top of programs we know that have good players on them and who will be the representative, because it's so hard to choose multiple kids. Because like I said, you could have PV, you could have Chris White just from the defense alone from Lincoln. But when it came between Trey and Dom, we just felt like Dom was really an incredible player, and he had been all season. Obviously we didn't put him on the podium to begin with, but we put him in a group of people in the fan vote that we thought were all up for that final spot. You talk about other kids like Major Givens, who had a phenomenal year. Chris Williams, obviously Chase Lowry. But we felt like even in the losses, and it's nothing against Trey. I understand he was hurt. I understand he missed a couple games. We didn't really hold that against him. We just felt like Dominic Nankill performed so well that he deserved modern day spot for the fan vote. And I get it. One's going, one's a 4-star guy. One guy, was going.
One's going to UCLA, and the other one's going to USD. It's kind of hard. I mean, from a fan perspective,
really care about that. We thought that Dom had the better year. Kind of similar situation going back when it talked about Jack Tuttle and Chris Olave. They came down to the conclusion that if there's going to be one, it was going to be Tuttle. Yeah. So it's kind of the same situation. It's another situation where we're never going to win.
Yeah. It's not a bad choice with Dom.
No, it's not at all.
He held his own, and he played some tough games, and he did his thing back there. And I've seen him play a couple of times, maybe more than a couple of times, and he's pretty smooth back there. And he handled his business. And
Dom's a great kid. He's got a bright future ahead of him at USD. I mean, Tony Lawrence played there. Yep. You got some. Who's the kid that came out of Point Loma to play there? Agnew. Jamal Agnew played there. He made it to the league.
The thing with Nankill, though, just from a defensive standpoint of watching him on tape and film, is he keeps the offense going because he moves around so much.
Yeah.
Modern day is a scramble team.
Yeah.
All their stuff is scramble, and it's just Nankill scrambling and running for his life. But he's a big reason why they score points and why things are open.
Absolutely.
Because they got the top, they got McClure out there, and their receiving core is great, but it's already difficult to cover them for 3 seconds. But now I got to come for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Somebody's Nankill's running back there all over the place, almost like an Angelo Peraza, right?
I remember that.
All over the place and then just throw it. And as much as that's not necessarily something you want to do long term, you can use that as an asset if you got a guy that can run, stall time, and then make a throw or use his legs. So I kind of agree with the PPR in saying that if you look at the two guys, and this is kind of, it's kind of like an MVP vote, right? This whole thing, to me, watching him on tape from an opponent's perspective, I'm more concerned about Dominic Nankill than I am about Trey Edwards. And that's no knock on Trey Edwards, but Dominic Nankill and what he does to the game, if Modern Day loses him, I don't think they win 6 in a row to finish the season. I think it's and I don't know what they got coming up, but from that standpoint, and if that's what's going to come down to, one guy from Modern Day, then Nankill's probably going to get the nod in that sense. And it also helps that he's a quarterback, right? And then the whole offense. I'm a defensive guy. I'd like to see defensive guys up there, but he just has more of an impact in wins and losses, I think, than a middle linebacker.
Well, let me. I'm gonna play devil's advocate there. There's a small school kid that I thought got left out. I'm just gonna bring him up now. You mentioned him earlier, the Army Navy kid, the defensive end. I felt like he got snubbed. I think that what he meant to his program this year and getting him into the playoffs, and third in the state in sacks,
9 shutouts.
Yeah, that kid was dominant.
Yeah, he was.
Then the argument is, well, if he'd have been in a bigger school, he wouldn't be able to do that. That's all imaginary. We'll never know. Kid played where he played, and he dominated, and that's what he's supposed to do.
Rashad Salam went to La Jolla Country Day and won a Heisman.
And he won a Heisman.
Right. So it's like I don't know. It's a double-edged sword because coaching at a D1 school, right? You're sitting there going like, are you kidding me with this guy? He's going to get look at the talent he's going against. But then at the same time, people said that about Rashad Salam.
They said that about Braxton Burmeister.
Right. It's just because you're playing against lesser competition doesn't mean you're not as good.
Diminished.
And it's the same, but it goes both ways. There's a lot of guys that dominate there, and then they're just great high school players.
Well, the other kid, I think you mentioned him too, was a wide receiver, Mount Miguel. He's third in the state in receiving.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to explain to that kid or maybe even his one of his teachers or coaches over there. Like, your guy didn't get a look. A couple of years ago, they had a receiver there that didn't do as well as him, Raheem Allen Pompey, and he made the podium. So,
and it's tough to view on stats too, because the way teams play.
And so that's kind of my point. That's kind of my point. And I want to say this, and I want to be clear about this. I said this earlier. There are 200 different people voting on this, and 200 different people have different criteria of what they think is important. So what might be important to Chase may not be important to me. What's important to Ruben may not be important to me. But I need to explain that those are all opinions. None of those are facts. And so I think it's easy when you're not a part of the voting population, if you will, and you have to take on that responsibility and take on that stress to take cheap shots at people. And so part of me wanting to do this tonight was kind of clear the air and say, look, you may not like the result, but a lot of people put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into trying to honor these kids. And at the end of the day, that's what this is about.
We go back to the stat thing. I mean, you would never pick a cathedral quarterback to win offensive play because they never throw. But at the same time, as much as their running backs have been great, they get the ball thousands of times to run. And I'm just using that as an example because they run a winning team. The same thing can be said about these teams that just throw all the time.
Spread teams.
The spread teams, quarterbacks' numbers are through the roof. And it's like, oh, this guy's really tearing up. Well, they don't run the ball. So to me, I think when you vote on these things, you have to watch these guys play. You have to go out there and watch them play because there's a lot of times where I go out there and go, you know what, this kid is not as good as I thought he was going to be. Yeah. And then there's a lot of times where I go, I'm like, this kid's a lot better than I thought. Yeah. Or you break down tape and then you see him in person and be like, look, I know everybody's focused on this guy, but this player is even better.
Prime example. I mean, a prime example of that. I went to the Lincoln Madison game. I'm standing on the sidelines with JT O'Sullivan, and I look across and I see 11. I'm like, holy crap, PV is way bigger than I thought he was. 100%. I didn't even realize the kid was that big.
Yeah. So he brings up a good point, Braden does. People go on social media and they do their opinions on other people's opinions and they base them. But when you're on the field and you see these players, just like the guy you just mentioned, PV, massive human being. Yes. I mean, a big man. Okay. When you start seeing these teams and you start ranking these guys and you be like, wait a minute. Yeah. This Helix defense is solid. Yeah. They're a really good football team. Can they beat these guys? Yeah, they probably can. But you need to go out to the field. Yeah. If you're going to make an opinion on somebody, you need to see these players. And you got to see them perform at their highest level, and that's on a Friday night.
And to that point, I want to add this too. There's a lot of coaches that coach in one specific program. Okay. You might be an assistant coach or something. We good?
No, we're good.
All right.
There must be a class going on outside.
I was kind of wondering what that. It sounded like a flush. I'm like, do I need to be worried here?
Hey, you're about to get slimed, man. We said.
Already? Come on, baby.
Back to what slime on that green jacket. Dude.
There's a lot of coaches that coach football, and they get to see 10 teams a year. Okay, but what about those other 74 teams they don't see?
Yep.
You get to see your guys every day. Yeah, you know how good they are. But do you get to see those teams in North County? Are you seeing the Fallbrooks? Are you seeing the Powways? Are you seeing the Palos Verdes?
And you can't see everybody.
You can't see everybody.
I mean, that's how difficult this is because you have to watch these guys play. Yep. But the other thing, too, even if you go to one game, Chris, and that kid has a bad night, you're sitting there going, this kid's not great.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So it's like, now it's like, you picked the one game, unfortunately, where he just had a bad night. Right. He's 14, 15, 16, 17 years old.
Right.
Like Chase brought up Poway. I never saw Poway, and I haven't seen him this year. Hopefully, I'm going to see him tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night?
Yeah,
Thursday night. I can't really talk on those guys because I haven't seen them. Yeah. I can go see their stats. I can go see all this
bad
stuff.
I was going to say that.
Who's that?
Connor Rath is one bad man.
Yeah, I see it. You see a lot of him on TV, of course. But there's other guys on that team that also make an impact. Who's the O-lineman you were speaking of?
Brandon Myers.
Brandon Myers.
Dawg.
I've heard his name, but he spoke about him earlier. Like Brandon Myers, they just run behind him, get yards, and Connor, he knows how to do it. He knows how to handle it.
We've made the point. It's very difficult to evaluate.
Let's start getting some picks.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. I mean, you got to look at some stats, but you also have to know what teams do. You got to be able to watch. I mean, it's like trying to be a scout. I mean, it's tough.
And not everybody can be a good scout.
We're gonna work from the bottom and work our way up.
One last thing. It's something else that I've heard from a lot of people as well for underclassmen, because you mentioned the kid from Army Navy, you mentioned Castillo.
Yeah.
They only have 2 options, and that's underclassman of the year or the Silver Pigskin Trophy.
What about defensive player of the year?
No, we are. That's one thing that people kind of lose sight on. It
I
is
didn't
very
realize
focused.
only seniors.
Very senior.
It is
Okay.
very focused.
That's a great point.
Now it's not the perfect system.
That's a good point.
It's not the perfect system by any means, because a great example would be Jax Leatherwood.
Yep.
Missing this whole season. That's a guy who at the beginning of the year probably was on the short list for like who we would expect to be at least in the fan vote.
The dude.
So yes, you're gonna have a situation.
We miss you, Jax.
We're gonna have a situation like that, sure, and it does suck. But I mean, we're gonna make sure that with the last opportunity that these seniors get, we honor them. Now, is it impossible for an underclassman to make it?
Well, it's like I know Tyler Buckner ended up winning, but
Exactly.
he didn't play his senior year, right? Because he went to Notre Dame early when COVID hit, because he was going to go play at Helix.
Oh, wait a minute.
He left early.
So he won the silver.
He won his junior year.
He won his junior. He won the silver pigskin his junior
right.
year and didn't play his senior year because it was the spring season.
Right.
He was already at Notre Dame.
So
I mean, that could have been if he didn't win that year, he could have gone through with no awards,
No
right?
awards, yep.
Theoretically.
So they are open to that. It's probably
Rare.
I wouldn't say impossible for a sophomore to do it, because we didn't really put say in on there last year because we felt, he's going to have 2 more years to go. But we felt like he was good enough to be put on there this year. When you take that into account, that's the only spot for underclassmen. If they don't make the silver pigskin, and really, I mean, we could put them in the fan vote, but if they don't make it, it's really more they getting on outright. They are only put into the underclassmen. So it makes it that much harder.
But it's tough too, because you sit there in the future, it's like, well, he's always got next year. In football, it's never the case.
Yeah,
As Chase and I both know.
Very
You're
true.
one
As
injury.
Chase and I both know from my senior year, his junior year, nothing is guaranteed.
And why you got to bring up old stuff?
All right, let's get to the votes. We're going to start from Coach of the Year. We're going to finish with the Silver Pigskin finalists.
All right. So read the nominations, and then we'll give our pick of why.
Coach of the Year: Matt Marquez of Crawford, Rick Jackson of Madison, DeMaj Jones of Helix, David Dunn of Lincoln, Joel Allen of Point Loma, and Kyle Williams at Poway. Chris, you want to start us off?
Matt Marquez, Crawford High School.
I like Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams, what he's done with Poway is exceptional. I know he's got a very senior heavy team. So if he can come back next year and do the exact same thing with not a bunch of seniors, I think it's even better. But when Poway hired Kyle Williams, that was the turn that they were going to get a lot better. And I with them making the Open at the beginning, remember the first week? What I said they got a shot to make the Open. I think they're in, Chris.
Yeah.
I think doing that for Kyle Williams is my vote.
Matt Marquez, Crawford. I'm gonna go with Chris.
Yeah.
I think he's built a solid program over there, and I think he's built it from the bottom all the way up to the top. It's a tough community where he's at.
To Coach get those, like 3 sports.
Yeah. Yep. And I think he also works on the side right there with the school also, and he's just made a big impact in not only that community.
Dude, how many languages does he have to speak in order to communicate with his players? I mean, like when there's a brotherhood night and I see 5 guys on the sidelines with 5 different international flags and they're playing American football. Right. First of all, I don't know how you recruit all them kids. I don't know how you communicate with them. And how the heck do you win with them?
And stories he tells me, like, hey, you see this guy right here? This is the first year he plays.
Yeah.
He's going to be my starting running back this year.
He does a good job recruiting on campus, which is a lot of,
dude.
That's a big thing that coaches don't necessarily do.
It's not just recruiting on campus, dude. Some of these kids, like, this is maybe their 2nd or 3rd year in America.
Right.
They don't even know anything about American football.
And they're on campus and he gets them to play.
And they're winning.
And the important thing, he teaches them how to play. He teaches them the Matt's way.
And he doesn't have a huge staff.
Yep.
You know, there's not 15 guys on there, and to do all that, my hat's off to the guy. And he's an alumni too, graduated from graduated from where I graduated from.
You're being a little biased, it's fine. But it's all
he's best coach in the county.
Some Pop Warner guys that still don't know their roles.
Hey, no doubt.
Some new guys that Matt has taught, they know their roles by week 4 or 5.
Yep.
Is Chase allowed to vote on these or not?
Yeah, I can vote for it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sure Rudy's not going to kill you.
Yeah, sure. It's fine.
I didn't clear that with him. So
basically, I was close between David Dunn and Matt Marquez. I went Matt Marquez. Just watching them and watching the involvement he has on the sideline with his kids, it'll brighten anybody's day. You can tell that those kids will fight for every single yard for him, and not a lot of coaches have that in this county. And the way he connects with his kids, you can tell he's the perfect coach for that team. Yeah. And I think what he's done this year on the field and what they've been able to do in their games I think he's more than deserving. This is not, I'm not campaigning for anybody, obviously, but that if I had my pick, that'd be my pick.
Yeah, election night was yesterday. I don't want to see no more campaign ads, none of that stuff.
So I want to talk about the you mentioned David Dunn.
Yeah.
And I got nothing against David, but for me, I think that he has more help over there, obviously with Coach Carter and with Bashif. He's got 2 great assistant coaches that make coaching over there a little easier for him. He also has a bigger staff. Matt does more with less. And so that's why I went with Matt.
Yeah. Well, with David Dunn, you can say that about him with his help around him. But David Dunn, I've known him for, I'm probably going to say 12 years, maybe. I was the commissioner for San Diego Pop Warner. He was coaching Valencia Park, and some of his staff were still coaching with him down there. I remember David Dunn would take one day off just to get his kids tutored so they can pass their grades and, their school. David Dunn does have a great staff around him, but he's built that staff and he's brought these guys in and he trusts them. And we'll go back to Jason Carter. He just brought him in. He's like 2 or 3 years there now. How long's he been there? 2?
Like 3 years.
3 years now. He's made an impact.
Huge impact.
Huge impact. And the kids, the community has come around again for David Dunn. And I think Lincoln for from here on, for maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you will still be talking about, David Dunn and his staff.
Underclassman of the Year award. Obviously, this is the award for the underclassmen. We just kind of got the briefing on that. They're only eligible for this and the Silver Pigskin award, and kind of the one where we talk about, well, he's got a couple more years for some of these guys to win more awards. Kevin Allen III at Helix, Madden Faremo at Cathedral, AJ Logan at San Ysidro, Crete McKaylee at San Marcos, Ty Olson at Del Norte, and Julian Sand at Carlsbad.
You want me to go first?
I mean, does anybody win this besides Sand?
No.
I don't really think so.
I think
especially since Sand is only up for this award and for the Silver Pigskin.
I think you bring up a good point.
Saying.
I don't think anybody's going to beat Sand in this award, only because of the season he's had and where he's going and who he is. I mean, he's a great quarterback. But let me just chime in right quick on my pick, if that's okay. My pick, it was Kevin Allen. If Sand wasn't on this list, I've seen Kevin Allen play a few times. Small stature, but finds a way to get into that end zone and finds a way to get those yards and hardly comes off the field. This guy's getting banged up. I've seen him. He's getting banged up. I'm like, he ain't coming back in the game. He's back in the game. He's playing again.
Is he a running back?
Yep, he's a running back. He's like I say, small stature, but he's taking the hits and he's driving the ball and he's making yards and he's getting it done. So if Sand wasn't on this list, I really would lean towards Allen, but I'm going to go to Braden said on Sand.
So with all these guys, obviously Crete McKaylee has been phenomenal for San Marcos, being a freshman.
Yeah,
has a lot of great weapons. Don't get me wrong, but what he's done there this year has been great. Obviously, when he hit the Avocado League, it got a little bit tougher for him, sure, but he still put up a great enough year. Same thing with Ty Olson for Del Norte. He's been a phenomenal wide receiver. Was, I think, leading in the state at one point halfway through the season. The one guy who everyone might not have seen too much was Logan from San Ysidro. He's 4th in the country in returning yards.
Yep.
And I think he's only about $150 off being the leader in the whole country. And he's just been phenomenal for them. And I believe he's a freshman. So when we saw him, we were like, we have to make a room for this kid, just what he's been able to do for them. But also, I think one of the biggest dogs that I've watched on high school football has been Madden Faremo. The guy does everything and at every position I think I could see.
He's so big, I forget he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Another massive guy.
Gigantic.
Just massive human being, just like, I mean, I saw him, I took a picture, I'm like,
and transitioning from playing safety his entire life to playing outside linebacker just because of his sheer size.
And he's only going to get better.
Yeah. He will now. I mean, I said it before when he was freshman. He'll be the best player in San Diego County his year. So is now it comes down to me. I got to say this. I wish there was an other on this one. I'd probably take the kid from Mount Miguel. I think Julian didn't have a great year. His numbers aren't that great. So I don't think he's not even a leading passer in the county. I don't know if it's a lock on Julian Sand, I'll be honest. I mean, if he's an underclassman, you got the kid from Mar Vista. Is he a senior?
Oh yeah, Will Schick is a senior.
So he had a phenomenal year as a quarterback. But I think that, Sand's got another year. He'll probably win the Silver Pigskin next year. I just wish I could have voted for the kid from Mount Miguel instead. But since he's not on the list, I'll take Julian Sam.
Let me ask you something. Have you seen Julian play?
Yes, I have.
I've seen him play.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Being
same
at sevens against him.
Yeah.
but
have you seen him?
situation where if you take him off that team, what is
I don't know, dude.
Right.
Julian's got a lot of weapons around him. I think his receivers are super underrated. I think that the addition of Zach Marshall, it causes a crazy amount of mismatches for a lot of teams.
Nick Saban wants him. So
Yep.
Listen, Nick
More
Saban, but I'll be honest. In my opinion, and I'm not knocking the kid, but I don't see a 5'11" quarterback in the SEC. Period.
It's funny you brought that up.
I just don't see it. I mean, you can commit to Alabama. He's going to have to get taller. I mean,
I'd like to see that
I don't know.
in that environment that I watched on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna.
It's different, man.
You might commit to Alabama.
It is different.
But to play there and to have success there, I mean, look, we had a kid from Poway that transferred to Gorman. Tate Martell, and thought he was. I mean, Tate Martell is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Goes to Ohio State, never sniffs the field. Never even sniffs the field.
Schools.
And he goes down to Florida, doesn't sniff the field. I don't even know where Tate Martell is now.
Was he in Miami?
But he's a 5'11" quarterback. All I'm saying is, I don't know if I'm letting my quarterback, who I think he's 6'1", truthfully. That's what he's got him listed at. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I let him play in the SEC.
Well, he's got to be able to move around like Bryce Young.
He's not going
to be able to do.
And he's not Bryce Young.
And think about the size of the lines over there. Yeah. The biggest people I've ever seen in my entire life.
Julian Sand is a pro style quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would.
Like he probably does not fit.
He's a pocket passer. Yeah.
Offense, but they're gonna find a way to make him fit.
I don't know.
I mean,
here's the thing. There's a reason why they wanted him. Georgia wanted him. LSU wanted him. So I'm not 100% convinced he's going to spend all 4 years there. I can see him going somewhere else, but I'm fired up that we got two SEC kids.
Yep.
On two of the best teams in the country,
Georgia and Alabama.
Right. There's a reason why they're making their trek over here.
So we'll take Julian as our underclassman.
I think he'll probably win. Two-way player of the year. Samuel Cooper IV, UC, Henry Davis of Mission Hills, Alante Logan of Morse, Chase Lowry of Point Loma, Marcus Ratcliffe of Cathedral, and Joaquin Thomas Jr. of Granite Hills.
Ruben, why don't you go first?
Oh man, I
haven't seen a lot of these kids play. So
Alante was phenomenal for Morse.
Yes, he was.
Both sides of the ball.
He was.
He was incredible. Same with Chase Lowry as well.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and go with Logan.
Yeah.
That's a really tough list right there, man.
Yeah.
There's some really good players there, but Logan's phenomenal. He's playing in our SDFNL All-Star game. I'm happy we have him. He's going to surprise some people. He's going to get some scholarship offers right away. First day of practice, I'm confident he's going to get it right away.
That's cool.
Alante Logan is just a phenomenal athlete. With him and Wright, Morse tends to find a way to get these athletes and get them at the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
And I think Alante Logan, he's my pick for two-way player of the year. And I'm excited to see him play another game with Morse. I'm also excited to see him at the SDFNL All-Star game.
Cool. Shameless plug.
Yeah. Chase, who you got in this one?
For me, I think the one that stands out is Sam Cooper. He does so much and literally never comes off the field. And it's not just how he's a quarterback, but he's also great at running the ball and running with his legs, getting a lot of rushing touchdowns. The way he plays linebacker is great. I mean, we can make it even a three-way player of the year. He's the holder on the special teams.
There you go.
And he even got a touchdown on a broken play where he had to scramble back and throw, or touchdown or extra point. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think he stands out the most. I think what Chase Lowry has meant to Point Loma, though, has been also incredible. He was kind of just their bruiser back last year, and now he's kind of just toting the rock most of the time. And then he's phenomenal on the defensive side. He's a great linebacker. I believe I'm not sure if he's going to Montana or if he has offers from Montana, but whoever gets that kid is going to get a great football player. I'd probably lead towards Samuel Cooper at this point. I just think he has kind of the better all-around resume.
I don't want to go after him anymore because I think he's just got the same guys I do.
That's right.
Listen, your underclassman of the year last year isn't going to get a chance to win the Silver Pigskin, in my opinion. But he definitely is the two-way player of the year. In my opinion, I 100% agree with you. He's a starting quarterback. He runs the ball, throws the ball, calls the offense, calls the audibles, and then he switches over to the defensive side of the ball, and he's the Mike linebacker. He's literally the whole heart and soul of his football team on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else. It was close for me though. Alante Logan from Morris was a really, really close second. Love the way that kid plays both sides of the ball. Think he's gonna be a special college player, whoever gets him. But Sam just edged him out because he plays Mike linebacker and quarterback. Like those are some of the two hardest positions to play on the field, and to do both of them at the same time for your team, that's just incredible. You're doing
very smart.
You're doing 130 snaps a game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Let's get to special teams player of the year. Because
you gonna get your pick. Pick one.
I'm gonna go with Logan as well.
Logan, okay.
You
snubbing my guy.
Well, the thing with I think it's interesting. Like Marcus Ratcliffe didn't play too much offense this year, so but I'm excited to watch Marcus play at San Diego State.
Can I bring something up really quick on that? Joaquin Thomas didn't play much two-way also. He's also a phenomenal athlete. Mostly a defensive guy this year. I mean, granted, it's got their 3 running backs now. Right. So that's
I love the way Joaquin plays though.
Yeah.
Let's move on to we're gonna kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Special teams player of the year: Christopher Williams, Francis Parker, Corey Thompson Miller at Lincoln, Tyler Robles at La Costa Canyon, Kai Kluth at San Diego, Tyler Haley at West Hills, Mateen Magani at Del Norte.
If I had to say probably the best kicker I saw, it's probably close between Kai Kluth and Mateen. I'd probably say Mateen was the best at kicking it. But I think when you can also kick and also return, and by the way, you also play quarterback and running back, maybe even might be coaching soon. Christopher Williams, I think, has to be my pick. He literally does everything for them. And on special teams wise, especially, he's a great kicker. And I believe he's also was their returner as well. So it'd be Chris Williams for me.
That's who I was going to go with. I saw him a couple times in PPR. I was like, this kid's pretty good. I like this kid. He's pretty athletic. I like the way he plays. I thought his interview on the PPR was outstanding.
Yeah.
And special teams player of the year for me as a special teams coach, a guy that could do it all. I mean, it's kind of like a firefighter award. To me, takes a little bit more, than kickers. I don't want to, disrespect kickers because there's a lot of kickers we've had go through here with special teams. I mean, they're drilling.
Matariza.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of guys.
Matariza won special teams player of the year for PPR.
I mean, you got guys like Joey Cheek that are playing at Utah now that win special teams player of the year. So
Cheek, man.
But I'm going with Christopher Williams.
All right, I'm gonna take my pick now because I think you're gonna say the same person I am.
Yeah.
I really do. There's no way that Chris. No, wait.
You got him?
There's no way that Corey Thompson isn't your special team player of the year, in my opinion. That kid had 14 kick returns or punt returns for touchdowns, and like 8 of them were callback. He's the most. I'll be honest. Did not see his film. He was not on my radar. The entire Lincoln football community lit me up. I did watch his film, and yes, hats off to the kid. He is by far the best punt return, kick returner. Asterisk, I still like Will Bond on kick returns. It's Corey Thompson should be the special teams player of the year.
I'm going to agree with Chase with Christopher Williams.
But not agree with me because I'll pick Christopher Williams.
Yeah, well, Braden.
So I'm the only guy with Corey Thompson.
I like the way Chase broke it down, man. I mean, two-way player, kicks, quarterback. The kid, he could do anything. He's also outstanding baseball player.
3-way player award winner right there.
Yeah.
New award for next year.
He's an athlete.
Tell the McKinnons. Add it to the list.
A little more, please.
He's an athlete.
He's like, I need to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell him, man, that I still have one running back position left. And if he's interested, he can come out and play the All-Star game. But really quick, I know you said something about kicker. I just want to say something about Kai Kluth because it was sent over to me by Coach Medina. 27 for 40 touchbacks, 15 for 15, 3 for 6 long, 36 punch average, 18 punts from the line, 25 inside the 10. So he thinks highly of him.
I don't think people understand the importance of kicking the ball into the end zone and kickoffs for high school. I know the coaches do, but there's a lot of people that probably don't know. I mean, I've thrown the stat out there.
I'm going to throw one.
What is the success rate for an offense in high school to drive 80 yards and score?
15.
10%.
Wow.
You have a 10% chance to score if you start at your own 20 in high school.
Out of the entire
ball in the end zone, you got a 90% chance they ain't scoring.
So out of the entire football season last year for Cathedral, how many times did Joey Cheek on a kickoff not get a touchback?
I can think of like probably 1 or 2 times, maybe.
It was twice.
I think one was playing them.
Yeah,
He kicked it into a tornado.
He had over 60
tornado.
He had over 60 kickoffs, 2 that weren't touchback.
Wow.
One of them he kicked it fat, and the other one was in the Bay Area where the wind was
out.
Anyway, offensive. Did everybody pick?
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year. Ravel Cato of Mira Mesa, Josiah Cox of Lincoln, Caden Dawson of UC, Trey Edwards of Mater Dei, Victory Johnson at Cathedral, Easton Peterson at Granite Hills. There's a lot of good players on the list.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with what we were talking about earlier. I'm gonna go with Trey Edwards, and I think he's a pretty solid athlete. And I know you spoke about earlier about Nankill, but it wasn't really a fair thing because Nankill gets the ball a lot. He gets a lot of looks. Trey, he was injured as we were speaking earlier, but I think Trey is going to be a solid athlete, not only for the rest of the season, but also UCLA. So I'm gonna go with Trey Edwards.
I'm going Josiah Cox. I like the way that guy plays.
Yeah, I think
he hits the crap out of people too.
He does.
I'm with Josiah Cox on this one. It's close though with Trey because Trey is phenomenal. When you do get to watch Trey play, the way he explodes through the line of scrimmage is kind of terrifying. And it's kind of terrifying for a lot of other teams. But I think what Josiah did this year in the big moments for his team and for that Lincoln defense, he definitely was the best player. And I think it has to be him. I think he was phenomenal.
All right, so I'm going to be the Darth Vader of high school football once again.
You're not picking any of the two. You're not picking Cox or Trey?
So it really came down to 2 players for me. It came down to Victory Johnson.
Okay.
And it came down to Josiah Cox. Okay. Now, the only difference between those 2 for me was the help around him. If you take Josiah Cox out of the defense for Lincoln, they still win. I don't know that. Now, I know that he is the heart and the emotion and the spark plug that gets everybody going on defense. And yes, he is a Steve Atwater. I'm going to knock your block off. I get it. Love the kid. Love the way he plays. But Lincoln's defense is still going to be good without him. You take Victory Johnson off of Cathedral, I don't know that defense is going to be able to stop Mater Dei and beat them. So I think over the course of a season, I took Victory Johnson.
Well, the depth at that position, just in general, just kind of falls off a little bit.
I took Victory Johnson, and that was hard for me. It was really, really hard for me because, I had to look at, and I want to vote for Josiah. I've known the kid since he was little. He came to me when he was in youth football, and I still have pictures of him when he was in youth football, him and Tank. But I just felt like looking at that defense, he's got PV around him.
Yep.
He's got Chris White on one side. He's got Corey Thompson out there at safety with him sometimes. He's just got more help. So I don't know that he had to do as much as Victory Johnson had to do for Cathedral.
I think the other difference too is the D line for Cathedral this year is different than last year. When you're defensive, like when you're a linebacker and your D line,
didn't you take Cox?
I did, but I'm just saying in general, when your D line is getting pushed back and you got to deal with offensive linemen and D linemen in your face trying to do your reads at middle linebacker, it's impossible. And that could be said about any middle linebacker, even for Trey over his 4 years. I mean, if you got a good D line in front of you, you can shoot the gap, you can do everything you need. But if you got to work through linemen, your job is very difficult. And he went from going from a really good a state championship D line to a lot of younger players on that D line, and he's got to deal with a lot of big players.
I want to talk about the Trey Edwards thing for a minute. Look, I mean, for me, he just didn't play in enough games. He was injured for quite a bit of the season. I think he had a better junior campaign than he had a senior campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
So, I just couldn't. In my heart of hearts, I couldn't give him Defensive Player of the Year. Couldn't do it.
All right, we got 3 awards left here. Offensive Player of the Year: Major Givens, Jeremiah McClure, Roderick Robinson, Makai Thompson, Gino Trapasso of Rancho Buena Vista, and Demarion Wright of Morse. A lot of great options here. Unfortunately, I think for a lot of people that Roderick Robinson's still on the list because I think he's going to win the Silver Pigskin for sure. And then obviously he might win Offensive Player. I don't know if any voters are going to, try to spread the love in that kind of sense and not vote for Roderick for both. But, you got a lot of good options here offensively.
So I'm going to split my votes, and I'll tell you why.
Half vote for each person.
First of all, I'll say that the best offensive player, in my opinion, is Roderick Robinson. There's no doubt.
The best player.
He literally
this year
beat Madison on one leg. I mean, I watched that game. I was at the game, and I was like, "Hey, Madison got a chance to win," and they didn't win. And Roderick still beat him. I watched the modern day game live on television, and it was, I mean, he was running up and down the field like it was a track meet.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, is this a varsity game? I thought this was varsity versus a JV game the way that kid was playing. With that said, I think, because like to Braden's point, I'm going to vote for him for the silver pigskin.
So am I.
So I'm going to
Spoiler.
get it's okay. It's no spoiler. Anybody that's watching my Twitter knows who I'm voting for. I'm gonna give it to Gino Trapasso. And the reason being is because without Gino, they don't start the season 5-0. As much as I love Connor had a lot to do with their winning as well. Gino did some really, really special things. And he's a very, very hard running back to tackle, to carry. He's slippery. He's elusive. I don't think the kid got enough love around the county. I don't think people got enough time to see him. But Gino's a special kid and a special type of football player. I'm voting for Gino for the offensive player of the year.
It's tough for me because same thing. To me, I think with this one, just to make it fair, is aside from Roderick Robinson, who do you think the best offensive player is out of this list? I've seen Major Gibbons play in person. I've seen McClure play in person multiple times when he was at Saints and Mater Dei. I watched Mekhi Thompson play in person. Obviously, I watched Roderick Robinson in person. The only two I didn't see was Gino, who you mentioned, and Demarion Wright. And for me, it's tough because I think it comes down to Mekhi and it comes down to Major. I got to watch. I've seen Major for 4 straight years now because we've played them 4 straight years, and he is by far the best player on that team at Steel Canyon. And I don't want to say he carried the team, but he kind of carried that team. I mean, he was a stud. And I remember in the spring season, he was a sophomore and he was up playing varsity. And I remember watching that going, because we destroyed the JV Steel Canyon team. I'm like, I watched him play. I'm like, he was kicking our varsity's ass. And I was like, I'm glad we didn't have to play him because we'd have zero answer for that kid because of how good of a player he was.
Right.
And then I watched Mekhi Thompson play for Mira Mesa.
Does everything you ask him to do.
Yeah.
Against Helix. I was like, this guy's a stud. I mean, and he
is a stud.
Not only was he a stud in the game, in 7-on-7, he gave Cathedral a lot of problems going, this kid's really good. I mean, and I think he's going to have he's going to USD, right? Isn't that where he's going?
I'm not sure.
I thought USD gave him an offer.
I believe he has an offer from there now.
So USD offered him. I think he'd be a great running back at USD. So to me, I'm torn on those two. I'm probably going to lead Major Gibbons because I've seen him more years than Mekhi, but I think both those players are deserving. And that's not to say Jeremiah McClure is not deserving because I think he is too.
Yeah.
The best play I've ever seen McClure make wasn't even him on offense. He was on defense playing for Saints against Lucky and Cathedral. He gets trucked by Lucky and then gets up and chases him down 40 yards downfield and tackles him at like the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
most amazing play I've ever seen in the last couple of years defensively in high school football. So
I remember that. I got Sean Pomato reminds me of that every year.
I mean, he trucks McClure and he keeps running down the sideline, and then McClure runs him down. It was amazing.
You know how much I had to make it up to McClure? So for the record about that play you're talking about, there was a video that TSC Sports filmed on that. Calvin filmed the video, and I went ballistic. I mean, I saw Lucky, and I was so excited that he trucked some kid. I had no idea who the kid was. So I went on Twitter. I was like, this is how you, as a running back, this is how you truck somebody.
That was when he was a sophomore too, right?
And so Pomato hits me up. He's like, Chris, are you really about kids?
Oh, man.
And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, how could you demoralize that kid like that? Did you see the rest of their play? Did you see he went and I was like, dude, like he made me feel really, really bad for saying that, right?
That was probably the best play.
So I said about it, I was like, damn, Pomato got me. Sonny P got me. All right, fine. So the next year, I started doing custom cleats. And so when they went to the state finals, Mater Dei did, if you watch the video of the cleats that McClure wore, I bought him the cleats. I customized them with the glue and the gold and the blue, with the gold toes on either side, with the MD in the middle there, and gave them to the kid for free.
Oh, wow.
As an apology. It's like $140 pair of cleats that I customized.
Pretty solid apology.
That is,
I felt like, dude,
you owe me a lot, huh?
I'll tell you what,
I might know this guy's some vacations, right?
So I'm gonna go with Roderick Robinson, man. I've seen him a few times. Yeah, I've seen him a few times. I mean, I did a comparison earlier. I was talking to Chase about it. Compared to, he's got Royce Freeman in him. He's got Verdell in him. He's got a little bit of McClendon in him, and I've seen all these guys play, but he's just in another level. Roderick Robinson is going to be what Georgia wants him to be, and it's going to be a solid running back over there. And I just feel like Roderick Robinson's going to be the player of the year, Pigskin player of the year also for the main award. And he's gonna take it. I mean, go watch this guy if you haven't seen him. All four of us seen him, right? All you guys seen him play already.
Multiple
right.
times.
He's solid, man. And when he hits that hole, he hits it hard, man. I'm telling you, and you better get out the way or else he's going to.
How that feels.
But it's not even that. He's fast too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's quick.
People seriously underestimate how fast he is.
I mean, I hate.
You realize
I don't
he
want
runs
to
a sub 11.
I don't want to compare players, but like he's the perfect. He's the Derrick Henry comp because Derrick Henry's fast. I mean, people don't think he's fast either, and he's fast.
And he doesn't fumble.
Right. He's not as big as Derrick Henry, but he can run you
tall.
over, and then
He's
he's
got 4% body fat. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. No, he hits that second gear when he hits the second level.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Silver Pigskin finalists. I think all of us are in agreement on who this is going to be.
So go ahead.
But let me here's the finalists: Samuel Cooper IV, Josiah Cox, Connor Rath, Roderick Robinson II, and Julian Sand. I think it might be a unanimous decision here on Roderick Robinson, but give me a reason why Roderick doesn't win the Silver Pigskin. Eat everyone.
Okay, so first of all, I think that the dumbest thing that happened in this entire thing here was putting Josiah Cox on the Silver Pigskin podium.
Oh, you got two Lincoln guys.
And the reason I say that is this, not because of the player, simply because when you put two kids from one school on the podium, you're going to split votes. Now, people are going to say, oh, nobody's going to vote for Josiah over Roderick. Well, what if they do? What if somebody says, you know what, I'm a defensive coach, I'm voting for a defensive guy. And they decide to go for every vote that should have went for Roderick could get given to Josiah. And I think if you do the numbers and you look at the 200 voters that are out there, and some of these coaches haven't seen Roderick in person. Maybe they didn't watch the PPR. Maybe they haven't seen too many highlights on him. Maybe some of these coaches have to count votes for Sand. And it could be, and everybody says, well, it's really just a two-dog race. It's between Sand and Roderick. And my point is this. At some point, there's going to be a coach, maybe in Fallbrook, that didn't see Rod or Poway or some, other guy who hasn't seen him, and they're going to vote for Sand. And when you start adding up all the votes and all the people, and then a couple of votes go to Josiah instead of Rod, you could have an upset. Sand could end up winning this thing.
I disagree with that. But that being said, give me one reason why you think one of these, give me a case for one of these players aside from Roderick why they deserve to win.
Julius plays on the number one team in the county right now.
He's got an offer from Alabama.
And he's been playing at a very high level for 3 years now. And he's led his team to an undefeated season.
All right. You did saying you pick somebody else why they deserve to win over Roderick.
Connor Rath is the Poway Titans.
Right. I agree.
The whole team. I get that he has a great offensive line, and you kind of need a great offensive line if you want running back numbers. But he is that whole team, and he was that whole team last year. He averaged like 10 yards a carry in his last season as well. It's hard when you have Roderick Robinson in front of you and you're trying to compare two running backs. You're probably not going to win that race. But if he walks away with it, I think we're all satisfied with him winning. We're actually all satisfied with anybody on that list winning.
Ruben, you got either Samuel Cooper IV or Josiah Cox. Why do either of them deserve to win over Roderick?
Man,
when you phrase it like that,
yeah,
I love the way he did that though. That's brilliant, right? That's brilliant.
It's on the same page.
Yeah,
Roderick's the best player, but they're on the podium right now. They obviously deserve it.
I wanted to do Connor Rath.
Well, you only got two left. So
you got Samuel Cooper. Why does Samuel Cooper IV?
And I'll do JoJo's.
And you can do Josiah
I'll
Cox.
do JoJo's.
Why does Samuel why is Samuel Cooper IV holding up the Silver Pigskin at the gala when that comes up?
Why is he holding it up? Because he's a stud athlete. If you get in his way, he'll probably knock you out. He's got good game on both sides of the field. He's smart. He gets it done. And I don't think UC would be where they are without him.
I agree with that. I agree with the Connor Rath comments.
Assessment.
Yep. And I agree with the Julian saying comments. So Josiah Cox now.
All right, JoJo.
We talked about it defensively a little bit, but
First of all, he is my kind of football player. He's a throwback to Ronnie Lotz, to the Steve Atwaters of the world. He is the spark that gets that engine going on defense. And they play with his emotion more than any other player I've seen in this county this entire year. When JoJo gets up for a big game and goes out there and gets in the face of a PV or gets in the face of the other guys, the entire defense rallies around him. There's no one player that means more to his defense than JoJo.
I think those are all great responses. And I wanted to do that because I think a lot of people think it's a runaway, and I think it deserves to be kind of a runaway just because of how great Roderick Robinson is. And we've talked about how great Roderick is, and want to give some of the credit to some of the other. I mean, there's a reason why they're on the podium, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
So I think
commend you for doing
I think
that.
you guys all did a good job in making a case, if you will, for each one of those players.
So I voted Roderick. Yeah, his burst is just at another level, and he's just playing at another level, and he's got the it factor. He's getting it done. Their offensive line is nice. They're good. He's gonna be better, like I said, wherever he goes. And I think Roderick Robinson Jr. is the best player in San Diego.
Yeah. So coaches, fans, players, if you haven't seen Roderick, or you're considering what your vote is going to be for this year, TD's asking you. If you haven't seen him, DM me. I'll send you his huddle film. Give the kid a look. Give him an opportunity. You know, from me to you, I'm asking you to vote for him. I voted for him. These other guys voted for him. Braden, the cathedral coach, he even voted for him. So that's my shameless plug for Roderick Robinson.
He's the best player, and there's a reason why the best team in the country offered him a scholarship.
Yeah,
I mean that speaks for
Georgia.
Itself. So that's gonna be a cool environment to play in. I just came back from Athens.
Let's get this over with.
All right, we pick against the spread, the Cal Prep spread.
Yeah.
So
you do the spread.
You guys do the spread over
I don't do it on my own podcast.
Let's go.
All right, we're going to start with D5 quarterfinal game. Castle Park at Crawford. Crawford's expected to win 31-12.
I'm taking my Colts. Let's go.
I'll take Crawford. They'll cover.
Yeah, I'm taking Crawford.
Colt up.
Last time they played, it was a very close game between Castle Park and Crawford. I think Castle Park covers, but I would take Crawford to win.
So he's taking
Castle Park
with the points.
All
right.
Mar Vista at Army Navy. Army Navy is expected to win by 5. Army Navy by 5. I'll take that.
I'll take that. I'll take Army Navy by 5. I think the defensive end has a big night. I do think that quarterback over there at Mar Vista is very dangerous, but I don't think that O-line's gonna be able to stop that defensive end. I think he has 5 sacks to seal the deal. Army Navy advances.
It's a bold prediction. 5 sacks.
Boschek is phenomenal, and especially on that offense. I think I'm going to take Army Navy, though. 9 shutouts in a season. It's like almost unprecedented. And I think they did 4 in a row. Then Classical was the only team to score on them. I think that was a 13-6 game. And they did 5 more in a row after that.
And it's setting up for a potential Crawford.
Nehemiah Brunson knows what he's doing up there.
Yeah.
But I would take Army Navy to cover that.
Army Navy minus 5.
Army Navy.
Vincent Memorial versus Classical Academy. This game we played at San Pasqual. Classical Academy is favored by 7.
I'm taking Classical.
I'll take what they call the Caimans. Is that what they're called?
Vincent Memorial. Oh yeah.
Classical Academy. The Caimans. I'll take the Caimans minus 7.
The purple Florida Gators.
Yeah, right. I think I'm taking Classical as well, but watch out for Jacobo Elias, the quarterback for Vincent Memorial. He's had a phenomenal season as well. He could keep them in that game, but I think ultimately Classical covers that.
Yeah,
I'm
taking Classical too.
All right, going with chalk so far. El Cajon Valley versus Escondido Charter at Valley Center High School. Escondido Charter is expected to win 35-14. Multiple touchdown favorite for
I'm taking Escondido Charter.
So am I. I thought El Cajon Valley put together a good season this year.
I did too, but I don't think they have enough of the tank to stop the offense for Escondido.
You know what?
Player to watch for El Cajon Valley would be Khalil Gordon. He's been phenomenal for them all season. That said, Escondido Charter has a great offense, and a couple of teams have found that out the wrong way.
The hard way.
I'm taking the White Tigers, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They are the
White
White Tigers. We all taking the White Tigers? Okay.
They still have the black and white Bengal helmets?
I don't know.
Those are freaking awesome.
Those are sweet.
Those are freaking awesome.
Coming from a Browns fan. Aren't you a Browns fan?
Wrong Ohio team, dude.
I don't know.
I'm a Bengals fan.
I think you jump back and forth. I think you jump back and forth on the Ohio trains. We're going chalk and
says the TCU guy.
That's right, dude. 4. Francis Parker at Fallbrook. Fallbrook's favored 38-6.
Let's go. I'm taking the flying Chris Williamses.
I think Francis Parker covers that. I think Fallbrook ultimately wins though.
I'm going to agree with Chase. I think Fallbrook wins it, but they'll cover it.
I think Parker covers too, but I'm taking the Warriors. Mission Bay at Montgomery. It's a rematch, isn't it?
Yep.
Mission Bay is favored by 1.
Anybody got a coin?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna go with my guy. Well, I can't say that either.
You can't say that.
You can't.
Because I got dudes on both sides.
The last time you did that, you came back with a Montgomery T-shirt on.
No. The last time I picked this game when they played each other in the regular season, I took.
You took the Bucks.
Hey, listen, Coach Tate, I picked you last time. I'm taking the Aztecs this time.
You gonna come back with a Mission Bay shirt next week?
If I lose, I'll come back and wear a Mission Bay shirt next week.
I got.
He'll shave his head.
I'll shave my head.
I'll
It's
take.
too late for that.
I'll take Montgomery +1.
I'll take Montgomery too.
Taking Montgomery, but this is definitely a coin flip.
Yeah,
Both
hard.
these teams
It's gonna
match
be a
up
good game.
well.
Yeah.
Great offense versus great defense. But the big thing was how Montgomery controlled the clock, and they burned off 9 minutes on their opening drive last time they played. So I'm going.
Somebody's playing chess and not
I
checkers.
think I'd go Montgomery.
All right, this is the first game where the underdog actually is the favorite in terms of seeding. Chula Vista at Coronado. Chula Vista is expected to win by 8 points
Taking Coronado.
on the island.
I told you Coronado's my sleeper team. I'm taking Coronado.
I'm going with Howard Bannister. I think he can. I think the Chula Vista
Correct.
Spartans continue their run here. They're on a nice little winning streak right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you too. I'm gonna take
And
Chula
Cal
Vista.
Preps likes them.
Yep.
Oh, get off Cal Preps.
Coronado plays close games basically to every single team they go against. I'm taking them to cover. The Spartans win.
Spartans win. We're all on the Spartans. You're even wearing a Spartan shirt. It says Spartans on your jacket.
It's still the South, man. It's Chula Vista.
Palo Verde Valley at La Jolla Country Day. Palo Verde Valley, who, according to Cal Preps, would have got a bye, ended up having to play in the first week. They're actually favored by 1 on the road, long trip to University City area.
Didn't they just beat Mount Carmel?
Palo Verde Valley beat Mount Miguel.
I'll take Palo Verde.
That was in Blythe.
I'll
This
take
game's in
Palo
La
Verde.
Jolla.
I'll take Palo Verde.
I'm taking Palo Verde.
I'm taking my boys at the Go Big Blue, La Jolla Country Day. Coach Tyler
Fighting
Hales.
Tyler Hales?
Yep,
He just wants to
Tyler.
make sure he's still on the coaches list.
I might even go cover that game. I've been thinking about it, you know. Tyler Hales has done a great job over
Hey,
there.
let me ask you, do you have a blue brick?
Do I have a
Do
blue
you have
brick?
a blue brick?
I don't think I have a blue brick.
Go ask Tyler for your blue brick.
I'm gonna go ask Tyler for blue brick.
Now you gotta pick them. You can't pick Palo Verde
Yeah.
Valley.
I might have to give you my blue brick back.
I'm going Palo Verde Valley. Great running game for both their running backs. They're phenomenal.
Yep, they are.
All right, D3 RBV at UC. UC's favored by 18 in this game.
You see.
I'm taking UC.
I'm taking UC as well.
UC, Samuel Cooper probably gonna get like 4 touchdowns.
Next game, Imperial versus Bishop. Bishops will be at La Jolla High School. Bishops is favored to win 31-14.
I'm gonna take Bishops.
It's another long drive for
I'm gonna
Imperial
take
County
Bishops.
team. I got Bishops as well.
I'm gonna take the upset. I'm gonna take Imperial
To win
On
or
that
cover?
to cover. No, I'm gonna take them to win. That's
Oh,
it.
we're a super dog.
Okay.
Super
Yeah,
Who's
dog.
going to super
yeah,
dog
I'm
today?
gonna take Imperial.
You put the extra 5 on that.
Right.
I'm taking Bishops. Their offense is phenomenal. I love them.
San Pasquale at Del Norte. It's a pretty good football game. Del Norte got the bye. They had a pretty good season. San Pasquale turned it on late. They won 41-2 last week against West Hills. San Pasquale is projected to win by 4, -4 for San Pasquale.
Del Norte continues their Cinderella season and plays one more week.
I got +4 on Del Norte as well.
I'm taking San Pasquale. Snyder has been phenomenal for them.
Yeah, he's good.
Nothing against Del Norte. I've loved watching them all year, but I think what San Pasquale has been doing, especially on the defensive side of the ball as well, I think they cover.
I'm taking San Pasquale. They'll cover.
We're split on that one.
Morse at Point Loma should be a good one. Point Loma.
That might be the best game of the playoffs, guys.
Rematch.
Cal Preps disagrees. They got Point Loma winning 42-21. I think it's a lot closer than that.
Oh yeah,
I got Morse plus the points.
I got Morris plus points.
I'm going points for Morris. I think though.
Win for the Pointers.
Yeah, I think
I
it'll
can
be
see.
a win for
Yeah,
the Pointers.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Morse on that.
To win.
Yeah,
Cover.
to win the game.
Oh, another super
Yeah.
dog.
So that's going all out. Hey, when we going to Caliente, man?
That's right.
Yeah,
This
I'm
game's
taking-
on. This game's on
taking
Fox.
Morse on that.
Division 2 quarterfinals. La Jolla at Granite. Granite's favored to win 42-7. Granite covering the 35
Granite.
points. The 35 points.
Bro, you're not
Spread.
stopping all 3 of them dudes.
35
Period.
points. A lot of points.
That's a lot of
think
points.
It might be a lot of points for La Jolla, honestly, with what they got from Scully and Deal. I still think there's a possibility Granite does cover that.
Yeah.
I got Granite.
I think I'm going Granite.
Let's cover.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna
Cover
take Granite
35.
just like you guys.
There you go.
Christian versus Mira Mesa at El Cajon Valley. I was thinking about this because Christian and Granite both have a home game and they both play at the same stadium. So where's Christian going to go? They're playing at El Cajon Valley. Christian versus Mira Mesa, the rematch. Mira Mesa lost the first time. They're favored the second time -1. I'm taking the Marauders in this one.
I'm taking the Fighting Moraleses. I'm taking the spirit of Chris Thompson watching over them. I'm getting guys go win this one for Tompi.
I got Mira Mesa. I think
Mira
they
Mesa.
get the revenge game.
I got Mirror Mesa. I got it for Tompi. That's my boy. That's my
Let's go,
man. I know.
Come on,
I know.
Willie, go.
Makia Thompson's just gonna get off. I'm taking Mirror Mesa.
I'm going Mirror Mesa as well.
San Marcos at Ramona on the mountain. Ramona's favored by 4. Tough place to play up there.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to say Marcos.
I'm taking San Marcos. Jace Nix and Crete. Say his name, right?
Crete
Crete Macchielli.
I think San Marcos playing in the Avocado League, playing a lot of D1 schools helps them in this one.
Absolutely.
I'm taking Ramona.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Fighting David Baldwins?
Yeah, I'm gonna take.
They
Baldwin
cover
too.
the 4 points.
They're gonna cover it.
All right.
Brawley at Central out in Imperial County. Central's
tough.
favored to win by 9.
I'm taking Central.
I'll take Central too.
I think Brawley covers it. I think Central wins.
I don't think Brawley gets anywhere close to that. I'm taking Central.
Division 1, Saints at Mission Hills. Mission Hills is expected to win by 28 points.
Saints covers, but
Mission
Mission
Hills
Hills
wins.
wins.
Mission Hills wins.
I'll take Mission Hills.
I take Mission Hills.
They covering?
Yep, they cover him.
I think they cover too.
It's freshmen, guys.
El Camino at Helix.
Mm.
El Camino's favored by 2 out in East County.
I'm taking Helix plus points.
Yeah. Let me just say something.
Wait, is
about-
it at Helix?
Games at Helix.
Bro, El Camino is not coming into their house and making
El
it favorite.
Camino's got a big
That's
offensive
not
defense.
happening, dude.
Solid, dude.
They're
That's
pretty
not
good.
happening.
Solid.
They're pretty good.
I hear this conversation every year. about
That's
Helix.
not happening.
Every year, like no, they're not gonna.
Helix is Helix.
Helix until
Helix is Helix.
Helix is gonna beat El Camino.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I got Helix winning.
Coach Bill, just remember, Braden Surprenant, your boy, he picked against you.
I didn't pick anybody yet.
Oh.
I didn't pick anybody yet. I just said El Camino's not bad. They are favored by 2. We're all
Who you
taking
got?
we're all taking Helix plus
All
2.
right, there we
Yeah.
go.
I'm taking Helix plus 2. I think
Helix is Helix.
Helix is Helix until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Although I said that and then Granite beat him, so
No, I picked Granite.
I picked Helix.
I was the only guy in San County to pick Granite.
La Costa
get it on
Canyon
mine.
at Mater Dei. Mater Dei is favored by 7. Long drive on a Friday for the Mavs.
Modern day covers.
I'm taking Sean Sovaco.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna go La Costa
Outright
Canyon.
or covering?
Outright.
You think LCC is going to win that game?
I do.
There's no way LCC is gonna win that game.
I
I'm
do.
just telling you right
They
now.
got a chance. They're definitely a good squad.
They're pretty good.
They're good, but I think
They're
Mater
better than I
Dei's
thought they would be.
Mater Dei's got this one, and they're on fire. They're gonna just keep moving.
I got Mater Dei -7. Torrey Pines at Cathedral. Cathedral's expected to win by 17.
Cathedral.
Yeah, I think Cathedral covers that.
I think Cathedral wins. I don't think they cover.
I think Cathedral covers.
I don't think they cover. I think they win. Doyle don't care about spread.
17 points is not that.
Doyle doesn't care.
It's a 17 points.
All he wants is
17
to
point
win.
favorite. is
Yeah,
Cathedral in
yeah.
that game.
Nah,
He don't
won't
win
co-
it.
they won't cover. Yeah,
Those are 2 wing T teams, right? So
It's gonna be
Yeah.
low.
that's, I mean,
21-7.
it might be scoreless after the
21-7?
first quarter on 2 possessions.
Yeah,
Yep.
True.
21-7.
Plus, Chase and I have played in those games. Those are violent,
Yeah, very
mean
true.
games. That is
Hey,
a
yeah, but-
serious rivalry
But
game.
Gladnick's not there no more. So does that change
Matter, dude.
anything?
Yeah, it don't
I when we played Torrey, they didn't have Gladnick before then. It
All
was it's that game. It's like the SEC. That game means more to that.
The Delmar Heights Road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would even say. Let me ask you this, Chase. Who do you think?
Can we finish
is-
the picks first before you go in your stories?
We got 2 picks left. It's the open division. Who do you think is more of a rival to Cathedral, at least in your experience? Torrey Pines or Saints?
Ooh, that's tough. For me, I grew up in a Saints family, so I know my first memories
you.
of sports is going to
It-
the Charity Bowl.
Same with me, but when I was there, I swear.
That
team-
said, though, we do not like them Falcons.
I do not. The experience and the thing is with the Saints.
You're a coach at Cathedral, so don't get
The
yourself in
Saints,
trouble.
the
Okay.
Saints Cathedral rivalry is like, I don't know. A lot of the kids played like with each other in parochial school. Like,
Yeah.
so like,
Yeah.
like you got a lot of friends of both teams. There's not a lot of friends between Torrey and Cathedral, and
Absolutely
it gets heated.
Yeah.
That's a game where like both sides don't like each other at all.
Dude, I remember our freshman games being heated. And mind
Every level.
we got kids from Cathedral coming from all over, from Chula Vista, I'm from Ocean Beach, and we from the jump we're told do not like that team, top to bottom. I still remember. I don't have many memories of Sean Doyle being exuberant in his pre-game pep talk. Not even pre-game. This is like the Thursday walkthroughs. I remember forever how he was telling us how to go beat Torrey Pines.
There's just like both teams, dude.
It's for real.
There is a hatred between both. It's not even just the kids; it's the coaches, it's the parents of both. That is a old school hatred rivalry.
Gotta love it.
That way, it might be closer than you think. Never know.
All right.
Open division. Only one game got moved to Thursday for the holiday. That would be the Poway at Carlsbad game. Carlsbad's expected to win by 18 in this open division game. Give me a reason why Poway wins.
I don't have one.
Same reasons we saw from the El Camino game and the Mission Hills game in the trenches. Carlsbad still needs to step up to that point. They have the guys, but I think that's been problems for them. Poway covers. I'm leaning toward Carlsbad winning because I think Poway can run down the clock with their run game as well. It all kind of depends on really the first couple drives, who gets on the board. Carlsbad gets up to 14-0 lead. I think they could run away with it.
If Connor Rath has 150 yards rushing, does Poway win? Yes or no?
No.
No.
How many yards does he need?
220.
220.
Yeah, I'm taking.
And that's because
he needs a Roger Robinson, Jamal McClendon.
Well, the reason being, it's about clock management at that point. So he's going to have to. The best defense that Poway can have is a good offense and sustain drives, keep them on the field.
If they can do what the Chargers did against the Broncos on a Thursday night game where Ryan Matthews burned the clock and Peyton Manning was on the sideline, they can win. But they can't. The
only way is to keep signing on the side.
They can't go 3 and out of their first position.
I think the best comparison would be Helix and Lincoln from last year in the D1 final, controlling the clock and forcing them not to make any mistakes.
Keep the Roll Tide kid off the field.
Yeah,
if you're Poway, right?
If they make mistakes, Carlsbad at any point, Poway can control the game whichever way they want, especially with the guys in the interior.
You think Poway covers?
I'm taking Carlsbad. Coach Mack's doing a great job over there. They're deep in talent, and
I got Carlsbad too. I think they cover too. I really don't think. I mean, unless Poway can make it, if they can limit the possessions, they might have a shot. But I think Carlsbad's got too much.
Gotta get them on early,
and you can't. It's the same philosophy I said with the Padres playing in Philly. You got to put a drive together in your first drive to kind of silence things and get into a rhythm. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing the entire time.
100%.
Madison at Lincoln. Lincoln's favored by 10 in this rematch after they just played him 2 weeks ago.
I'll pick first. Let's see here. Really? Lincoln.
I got Lincoln in this game.
And covering.
Any reason why this game would be different than the last one?
Nope. Lincoln.
I mean, it's hard to think that Rod's not going to be better compared to, like you said, he's winning.
Oh, by the way, he's healthy.
Yeah.
A week off.
So
be good to go.
That said, though, I've seen
he did some floating in salt, by the way.
And hungry.
I think
listen, I don't know if
defense has come up big though, many times this season. I think they have that in them. I don't know if it's going to be enough though. I think Lincoln probably covers. Still.
I got Lincoln in that game. That's our game. That's our picks. Yeah, they cover 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they cover the 10 too. That's our game picks. Went through a full long discussion here about our pigskin, our PPR awards. Great job today, guys. I think that was a good conversation. I'm glad we brought up a lot of good points and got different things out there about maybe some misconceptions.
Yep.
But Chase, Ruben, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it. Chris, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I got one. As much as people think Paul Rudy is the godfather of high school football, he is. But he's not responsible solely for picking the Silver Pigskin winner. So whatever happens come Silver Pigskin night, don't hold him fully responsible either way.
For Ruben Pena, for Chase Izidoro, for Chris Smith, Top Dog. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for another edition of the High School Football Podcast. We'll be back at it next week as we get you ready for the semifinals and the Open Division finals on the same day.
Let's go.
It's going to be a fun time. Go out in there and enjoy some high school football this weekend. And be sure to keep it here. 97 through the Fan. Good night.
Peace out.
High School Football Podcast.